Yes, we are starting. All right. So as you can tell, we are live, and just wanted to say thank you. Uh, as promised over the weekend, I said we would be testing out a different time zone. We would be doing like a 9 p.m. every day. And interestingly, that's exactly what we've been doing pretty much every single day this week from Monday. So for those of you who've been watching either live or who've been, catching snippets of it when you got to know that we are live, just wanted to let you know, that we were successful at doing a daily live, and more importantly, this is another reminder that intention really is your guiding light, right? So thank you for your spirit, your somewhere, wanting to be here, which is what gets me to keep coming back, keep sharing, you know, uh, my reflections on the week. And we did 2 lives with the group. And of course, I've been doing lives as well through the week. And earlier today, we did our first ever workshop, just as a taster for you to get an idea of, what is self-hypnosis, how does it work, how can you use it in your life, especially as a digital coach, so that you can change the course of your life, your business. And we talk about the 5 key areas: your health, your wealth, your relationships, spirituality, and of course, your purpose. So this was the intention, and we are now on Saturday. So it's been 6 days in a row. And I quite like this format of doing like a 9 p.m. It also kind of gives me a reason to have structure as far as creating these lives. And I'd love to hear from you. What is it that, firstly, whether you were able to tune in, whether it was for a few minutes or right through. And more importantly, what kind of topics you would like me to do my research on, or to give you my perspective on, because like I said, I've been doing this work now for a fair bit of time. And I will definitely say, the good fortune of working with some amazing people over the years. Initially it was more working with people in the corporate sector, and then of course with time, as I started to work with people one-on-one, that is what my work has moved towards. And these last several years, I've been doing a lot of one-to-one work. And now, as life is always cyclical, now I'm at that point where I'm starting to make what I do available to more people, make it in such a way that it can truly benefit a lot of people. And what I've come to realize is that I'm actually talking to people like me, right? People who are coaches, people who maybe you were a trainer before, and now you kind of moving into that phase where you want to be a coach and help other people. Having said that, of course, these last couple of years, we've all been inundated in a good way with a lot of information on, marketing psychology, sales psychology, and how do you really make that difference uh, in your intended market, people that you want to reach out to so that they can find you, so that they can truly understand what your message is. And once they enter through that portal, through that door, you are able to work with them. So if you are someone who's like that, a digital coach, and you're on this journey where you're looking for, answers, you're looking for solutions, you'll also find that sometimes just knowing about, the latest tools, the latest technology, or even, having, let's say, access to a mentor, sometimes that's not enough. There is something more that you can't really put your finger on. You're like, I know there's something missing. I don't know what it is. Why am I saying that? Because I myself have been on that journey. If I look at it as an arc over the last maybe 16, 18 years, and definitely, post COVID, in a much deeper way. So what I've also come to realize is that, and I'm sure you have these questions as well. Like today's theme was Mera Number Kab Aayega, meaning, when will you be able to recover? When will you be able to reap the benefits of the time, the money, the focus, the intention of learning from other teachers, from people who have made it? But how do you make it your own, right? And that is where I found that when it comes to self hypnosis, this is something that is definitely one way for you to really be able to tap into who you are, and also to ask the difficult questions, right? So if you have negative beliefs about selling, if you have negative beliefs about asking for money, if you have negative beliefs about money itself, right? uh, it's not very helpful when you're looking to run a business that is built on your personal brand. Meaning that if you are not comfortable with money, with the fact that you are offering your services in exchange for money, that can be quite a deterrent, and it can stunt your growth as a business person, as an entrepreneur. So this is something that I have been dealing with. I have been battling at some point, but eventually I think I know now I'm at a point in my life, having stood the test of time, that I definitely am more comfortable, whether it is telling people how much it costs to work with me, telling people what it costs, and what the program entails, and how I can be of service to them, right? Because that is the first part that people want to know, that okay, if you say you can do this for me, how much are you going to charge me, and how much it is going to cost me, and how is it going to help me, right? So that is something that has taken me my journey to get to this point. And I know that to a large extent, my background, a lot of it is in some from way back 2007, is in neuro linguistic programming. And eventually I got to the point which is like the root of NLP, or neuro linguistic programming, which is hypnosis. So I've been very fortunate to find that it's like every painter has their medium. Some people use oil, some people use watercolor, and some people, like every artist has their own unique style. For me, I know I have now, after like almost literally, I think it's about 18 or 19 years, I know now I have found that sweet spot for me. So my intention is that using self-hypnosis, but more importantly, teaching you self-hypnosis, that you will be able to find your sweet spot, literally, so that you can maximize your market value. So what I tell you now, and what I tell people, is that I can teach you how to be able to maximize your market value. And how do you do that is by learning self-hypnosis. So in my paid membership, that's exactly what I teach people. I go live twice a week, and we do like a live session for typically about 2 hours every week. And in between, my members get an opportunity to work with each other, and I'm guiding them over WhatsApp, and then they are staying in touch through the week. And this is one way that I know that can help them build their skill, right? Because like any true form, you want to be able to build skill, you want to be able to practice. And that is precisely what I'm offering as a way to help you on your journey as a digital coach. So just keep this in mind in the coming days. If this is something that either it interests you, or it maybe it's something that fascinates you, maybe it makes you curious about it, maybe you have questions about it and you want to know what it is. The Saturday sessions have been created with that in mind, meaning that when you are able to come in, and it's literally 60 minutes, I've figured out a way to just keep it very, very simple, very, very basic, just for you to have an experience of it. And if you feel like, hey, you know what, I kind of like the sense of it, I'd like to do more of it, then there is an opportunity for you to be able. So the journey is, you come in, you do this, you attend this live session, which, like, for example, we did today. And at the end of it, if you feel you want to do more of it, you can either, let's say, do a trial membership for a month, or you also have the option of doing a trial class. That means after that, you just pay, you literally pay by, pay for each class, right? If you're still sort of skeptical, or maybe you know that your schedule is going to be really busy, that's also an opportunity, because my intention is for you to know more now than you did before. So if today you know a little bit more about self-hypnosis compared to say yesterday or, in the past, mission accomplished, right? And of course, for those of you who genuinely feel like, hey, you know what, I like this, I like the fact that we have a community, I like the fact that there is an accountability, I like the fact that you actually show up, meaning I show up live and I'm there for literally 2 + 2, like 4 hours every week, where I'm, guiding you, where I'm answering your questions. If that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for right now, more from a place where you can actually practice your skills. So it's not like I'm teaching you new marketing fundas or jargons or none of that. I'm just helping you focus on your beliefs, meaning rather than trying to minimize your negative beliefs, why not focus on your positive beliefs? Why not create positive beliefs when it comes to money, when it comes to your own self-image, when it comes to believing that you can truly make that difference in the lives of many, right? So this is where I'm at. This is beautiful. I am going to pause for a second because there's literally somebody at the door, but I will be right back. Okay. So I will be back exactly in 1 minute. It's not a glitch. I will literally be back. All right. So that was literally like this. These are the joys of, working from home. Literally had a Swiggy delivery guy at the door, but we're back again. So just keep that in mind in the coming days. And obviously we will be doing a lot of work, a lot more work in the days ahead. So just a reminder again, like I said, today, the topic is the art of allowing, right? Where literally it's all about embracing flow, and it all stems from letting go, meaning from surrendering. So the first thing to keep in mind is, and this is very important, especially as you're building your business, especially as you're building your audience, which is to let go of resistance. So if there is something that is stopping you right now, maybe whether it's got to do with creating videos, maybe whether it's got to do with creating content. Like for the longest time, I used to struggle a lot to create content on an ongoing basis, on a daily basis, until eventually I just let that go, right? And funnily enough, when I stopped trying, it just kind of like life is cyclical, right? So it just kind of came around to the point where it just made sense in the present moment. And now, like I said, I'd even put a post out the other day, right? It's been more than 6 months of a daily live posting. It's not like and by the way, there's nothing wrong in, in banking content and posting it on automation. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, at this point, I have literally been doing creating live content every single day, right? Whether it's the Facebook Live, whether it is, and sometimes also doing more than one a day. Like at times I've done maybe, I've also done a reel since the 25th of Feb. So that's a couple of months already. Like literally every day there's a reel that's been put out. Initially it was on Facebook. Now it's Facebook and Instagram. And like manually, I actually created, I could very well do the automation, but it's just a way for me to uh, allow myself to stay more and more in the flow of things. So if you're somebody who, is wondering, and you've been wanting to experience the art of allowing, the first thing to keep in mind is to let go of any kind of resistance, which means if you're at a point right now where you're like, I want to do this, but I can't do it. My I wouldn't call it advice. I would just say, that's fine. Don't do anything about it right now. Right now, you're like, give me a second. I wouldn't call it advice. All right. I was just checking comments to see if there are any, because I generally only look at the camera. I don't look at I minimize the number of times that I'm going to be looking at my screen so that I'm like completely here with you. All right. So, like I said, the first thing is letting go of resistance. The second is, of course, where, when you are willing to cultivate your trust and faith, what does that mean? That when you are focusing on your own self practice, it, like for me, a lot of it is self hypnosis, a lot of it is meditation, a lot of it is mindfulness. This is a way, there are many ways, but this is one way in which you can start to believe more in, you can call it God, you can call it, your connection to the universe, the divine. Everybody has their own name because it is all about faith, isn't it? Like, so I'm not going to tell you what's the way to do it, but just remember, as long as you're willing to feel more and more of trust and faith in what you're doing and believing, you will actually start to notice that the art of the allowing becomes more and more of a reality. And last, but in no way the least, just keep in mind that you have an intuition, and maybe you've not been listening to it for a while, but now is that time. Okay. So just allow this intuition to flow, and you will be amazed at how you are, reconnected to that inner guidance that you have, right? So if you needed to hear this, just remember this. Okay. I've got you, but more importantly, it's like your superpower has you because it is already inside of you. So like I said, my intention is to literally teach you how to be able to maximize your market value. And how do I do that? By teaching you self-hypnosis. And especially as a digital coach, we need this, right? Because this work that we do is far too important for us to get caught in the weeds, get caught in our own heads. We need that that sense of community, and we really need this feeling that what we're doing is important and that people around us do care, right? So of course, as always, I will be coming back and doing more of these pieces, but I just wanted to let you know that if you're somebody that's looking to maximize your market value, I've got you, right? And I literally have one is, of course, years of having done this and having built a path so that I could sustain my own mission, my own passion, of course. But now I know I'm at that point in my life where I can support you on this journey so that you can be, it may sound cliche, but it's true, right? So that you can be your best version, and you don't have to try and figure out, what new template to use. You already have that. That is where self-hypnosis can truly be able to help you open you up to that superpower inside of you. All right. So maybe you needed to hear that, and now you have. All right. So on that note, I'm going to start to wrap this live. But as always, I will be back tomorrow for yet another live. And if you need me, if you want me to create specific content on any particular topics that you are, struggling with or working through as a digital coach, just drop me a message, and I will certainly create content around it. Okay, so with that, I'm going to wrap this live. I want to thank you once again for those of you who've been watching this live. And of course, if you happen to be watching this later as a video, just remember that we've got this together. Okay, so wish you all the best, and have a wonderful weekend. And as always, remember to live with purpose. Take care. Good night. God bless, and see you tomorrow.